What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Zachary Smith. First and foremost, if you guys could do me a favor and subscribe to the channel if you are new, leave me a like, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single piece of content. And also throughout this, comment as you are watching the video. Let me know how you feel about the content that is being covered in here, as well as anything that you would like to see in the future. I always say this, but it's kind of a miscellaneous channel. This is where I post my non-Pittsburgh sports stuff. So I've been doing a lot of mock drafts, been doing a lot of NFL free agency stuff, and continuing along with the mock drafts. Today, we're going to have a Detroit Lions 4-round mock draft. I absolutely love what Detroit has been building there. They have 5 picks within the first 4 rounds right now. We will see if that's, how they stick, if they stick and pick at those spots, if they look to move down. They got some flexibility there as well. But yeah, one of the real cool stories I think of last season was Detroit's emergence, and I think they really have set the bar high for what they're going to be in 2023 and beyond with that. Also, huge shout out to the 12 Seattle Seahawks fans got their hands on that 4-round mock draft I just did for them and absolutely blew it up. Very active in the comments, letting me know, feedback on the picks, which different ways they would have gone throughout. And I love that. I'm not saying that I have the best pulse, hand on their pulse for what Seattle's going to do in the draft. It was a fun exercise to do for sure. And I love seeing the comments and letting me know how you would have gone differently with each pick. So yeah, shout out to Seahawks fans. It was a ton of fun. Hopefully the same thing happens here with the Lions. But without further ado, I will share my screen and we will get into it. Okay, so starting with the 6th overall selection here. They got 6 and 18 in the first round. Like I said, 5 picks overall in the first 4 rounds. Oh, Seattle, Quentin Johnston at 5. Also, if this is your first time watching any of these mock drafts, it's going to be stick and pick for each selection. Like this would obviously be very, very enticing, I think, for Detroit. But we're just going to stick with each pick. I mean, I'm like Jalen Carter should not be here right now. I am very tempted to just do that. Also, if this is your first time watching, Pro Football Network is the site that we've done for all of these just for continuity. I'm not going to jump around to different sites because obviously the rankings are going to be different on each site. And I did the first one on Pro Football Network, so I was like, I might as well just stick with the same one throughout. Will Anderson Jr. could certainly be the first pick. I would be shocked if Arizona were to go with Myles Murphy over Jalen Carter. I would also be shocked if like a different team didn't want to move up if they saw Jalen Carter get past like 3. I don't know. I mean, yeah, if you're not taking Jalen Carter in the top 3, somebody else is probably looking to move up to do so. But that's neither here nor there. I don't know how we can make a different selection. I think Lions fans would really get on me if I passed up Jalen Carter here. This is to me one of the 2 blue chip players in the draft, along with Will Anderson Jr. Like the can't miss guys. They're at least pretty safe. But with Jalen Carter, the ability that he has on the interior to generate that pass rush, it's hard to find. Harder to find that pass rush from the interior than it is from the edge, and the interior is the quickest way to the quarterback. So when you find a guy like Jalen Carter that can disrupt plays from the inside like that, it's invaluable to me. So Jalen Carter, in my opinion, is the number 1 player in this class, but should definitely go. I get positional value too. Like I could understand quarterbacks being, at the top of the list here, but for him to fall to 6 is just insane to me. But I mean, Jalen Carter, like Detroit fell into Panay Soul, just a couple seasons ago. So it keeps happening to them. They might as well take it. So Jalen Carter, number 6 to Detroit. I was fully prepared to take Christian Gonzalez here and talk about it, but now he goes at 10. Okay, again, yeah, no move backs here. Okay. 2 guys that I would be looking at here are Cam Smith and Brian Branch. Cam Smith, definitely a Dan Campbell type corner, in my opinion. He's very physical. He's great in run support, but he's a good cover corner as well. Pretty solid click and close, good hand usage at the position. And then Brian Branch is, to me, my favorite player in the class. I think that he can do so many different things for a defense. You can use him, too high, single high. You can use him as an overhang. Played a lot of that star position at Alabama, but similarly to Minkah Fitzpatrick in his time at Alabama. Due to the versatility, I'm going to take Brian Branch here. I would be fine with either selection, but I think at the very least what you have is your starting slot corner, and I think with the hope that he ends up being a free safety But yeah, you can use him in a multitude of ways. I wouldn't just label him one position, by the way. Like I'm throwing out these labels right now, but that's not how I view him. I just view him as a really good defensive back. Hmm. Interesting stuff going on through the draft here. Okay. Mm, couple different ways that we could go here. Felix Anudike Uzoma is a really good player out of Kansas State. He's really fun to watch on tape. He's twitchy, really good bend. But I'm actually going to go with Keon White, who's getting a lot of round one buzz um, as of late. I think Daniel Jeremiah had him going, I want to say top 15 in his latest mock draft. And it's not necessarily because of the production. I mean, he's one of those guys that when you watch, the traits are what jump off the page to you. And I think a lot of NFL teams are going to covet those traits and view him as a guy that they can mold into, a prototypical edge at the next level. So I think that this is definitely a Dan Campbell guy. Obviously, they got Aiden Hutchinson there. James Houston had a really nice rookie season that was probably a little bit unexpected, but they still need some help on the edge. I think getting, Keon White here is a great way to add to that room. And we are right back up. Um, this is interesting. I'm going to go with the best, in my opinion, pass catching tight end in the class, and Dalton Kincaid. I think he could go way earlier than this. He might be the first tight end off the board when it's all said and done due to his ability as a pass catcher. He's not really an inline guy. I mean, he's a willing blocker, but he lined up in the slot really a ton at Utah. He's great after the catch. He's great. Just get the ball in his hands. They used him a lot in screens at Utah. But yeah, I think to me, he ends up being the number one pass catching tight end from this class. And that's a great replacement for TJ Hawkinson. Hawkinson, obviously a better blocker than Kincaid was, but you're not really going to ask Kincaid to do a whole lot of that. It's just another weapon for Jared Goff for now and whoever the future quarterback is. Love me some Christopher Smith, too. Why was I looking at those trades as if I was going to make them? Um, yeah, so we obviously got Branch, who can be, he can operate as a corner a little bit. I view him more as just like a move around defensive back. I don't know what exactly role he'd be playing in for Detroit, but I would still like to add another corner, and that's why I'm going to give him Julius Brents, one of the standouts from the Senior Bowl. Again, I think that with his size, doesn't even have his height and weight listed on here, so I'm going to have to pull it up somewhere else. I wanted to read his size off to you guys. This is great. This is great stuff. 6'4", 202. Yeah, he is a big boy. I think that for that reason, Dan Campbell is really going to covet him. He's got to be one of the bigger corners, if not the biggest corner, right? I mean, obviously, like Keely Ringo's got that height, weight, speed combo as well as Gonzalez, but he's not 6'4". Where did he go? There he is. Yeah, Keely Ringo's 6'2". Julius Brent's at 6'4". I mean, that to me that's like a Seattle Seahawks type corner. That's the type of guy that they would be coveting. And somebody actually mentioned that to me in my Seahawks mock draft in the comments there. But Julius Brents really good size at the position, but it doesn't take away from his athleticism either. Yeah, he was a standout during the Senior Bowl. Like, those one-on-one drills that are kind of designed for the receiver to win. Julius Brents was kind of having none of that. So I really liked the player. I think he'd fit in like a glove in Detroit. I think that Indianapolis is a great fit too for him. I also think Seattle's a great fit too for him. And we took him in between those two teams. So Caillou Blue Kelly was the other corner I was considering there. One more pick, I believe. Houston taking another Stanford quarterback. What are they doing? Oh, wait, we may not have another pick. We don't have another pick. But trade. We're gonna trade back in. No, it's all right. That's right, because we had the 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders, and then a third. So yeah, 5 picks within the first 4 rounds. 5 picks within the first 3 rounds. Nothing in the fourth for Detroit. But yeah, Jalen Carter at 6, ridiculous value. I mean, to me, these are all just incredible value picks. I think the only one where you might be like questioning a little bit or I think people in the comments might question, is Dalton Kincaid. I really think that this is a great spot for him. I really do. Even though he's not going to offer the inline blocking that Detroit is probably looking for, post TJ Hawkinson. To me, he's the number 1 pass catcher at the position in this draft class. So Jalen Carter at 6, Brian Branch at 18, Keon White at 48, Dalton Kincaid at 55, Julius Brents at 81. Obviously, they have the rest of this draft. They also have free agency to address other things. But I think that this is a great haul for those first, I'll say 3 rounds. This is a 4-round mock draft supposed to be, but I didn't realize prior to starting this, Detroit didn't have a pick in the 4th round. So, but yeah, very happy with the results of this. Again, Lions fans, if you are in here, please let me know how you feel about this haul, what you would have done differently with each pick, and so on and so forth. But until then, we'll be back. Next team on the ledger will be the Raiders, which is going to be really fun too. So look forward to doing that. But yeah, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you haven't already, leave me a like, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single piece of content we're putting out, and leave me a comment below. Until next time, we'll talk to you. Bye-bye.